I've spent a great portion of my life feeling that I'm not good enough, that I need to be doing something more than what I'm doing, that I've constantly thought I need to be better than I am, or that I need to work to fix some aspect of myself. Warriors, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. We are all good and bad. We are awesome and awful. Hello, warrior, and welcome to another episode with me, Susie Pettit, your certified life and parent coach. I think it is so funny that I am recording this podcast. If you're actually watching this video, I have it as a video too, because I am just having tech issues. And my whole episode today is about learning to love ourselves in all of our imperfections. So it's just so ironic that I would have this going on for me today. So welcome today. And no matter when you're listening to this, I want this episode today to feel to you like a hug. Okay. If you're listening mid-year and when this comes live, it's mid-year. It's a time when many of you might be feeling some big feels of transitions, changes, kids going to university or kindergarten or sixth grade, all sorts of stuff. And I wanted to release this episode as a really compassionate, that it would feel like love to you. And I like thinking of you re-listening to episodes at any time, and my episodes being sort of timeless so that you can re-listen to this at any moment when you feel like you need a little, just coating of love. I think it's always a good time to pour some love on yourself. So in today's episode, I am going to do two things. One, I'm going to sort of a mini teaching or a reminder of our human nature, our light and our dark, our both and our and. Okay. And two, or secondly, I'm going to give you specific ways that you can support your awesome self during your days starting today. These are going to be small, very small actions you can start taking to really be a better friend to yourself. Okay. So thank you for listening. And I'm passionate about teaching warriors to be nicer and kinder to yourselves. Sometimes we work on being nice to other people, on our mindful communication, or maybe not yelling or whatever, but you know who you're going to be in relationship with for the rest of your life? You warrior. You will always have a relationship with you in your head. Okay. Which is why paying attention to how kind and accepting and loving you are with yourself is important. Okay. Because seriously, how nice are you to yourself? I mean, for real. Like, how easy do you find it to be nice to yourself? To speak to yourself nicely, to look at your actions with kindness, and to regard the way you showed up at different areas in your life, like today or in the past, with compassion and understanding. I've been atrocious at this over the years. I'm chuckling, but only because if I don't laugh, I'll cry at how mean and judgmental I have been to myself over the years. I don't think that's an overstatement. I have been atrocious to myself in my head over the years, and I wonder if you can relate. I've spent a great portion of my life feeling that I'm not good enough, that I need to be doing something more than what I'm doing, that I've constantly thought I need to be better than I am, or that I need to work to fix some aspect of myself. Warriors, there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to fix. We are all good and bad. We are awesome and awful. This is what all the books, podcast coaches like me are trying to tell you. There is no perfect human out there who's all good, who's making good decisions in all circumstances of her life, who acts skillfully in all interactions with her kids and her partner and her friends and her parents. No, that's perfectionist thinking, and it's inaccurate. This is a big part of why I became a coach instead of a therapist. Okay, I find that many view therapy as something you do when something's wrong, and they'll help you fix something that's broken. Okay, with coaching, I approach it from a completely different angle. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to fix. Nothing is broken. For sure, we can always augment and expand, and we're either growing or shrinking. For sure. Okay. I help you learn about your tendencies, your patterns, your conditioning in order to be your best self. Okay. Some of those patterns and tendencies we work to shift, but not because you're broken, warrior. Coaching helps you be the best version of yourself, to be your best you, independent of what your neighbor is doing or your mom or your friend or what they think you should be doing. Don't really care about that. I care about you. And I get to teach and support warriors in being their best self. I am honored to work with my clients and view my role as someone to love and support you, okay, as you learn how to be your best self. So you can call me your coach. If you're watching this video, if you're listening to this podcast, this is what I'm here to do, to help you learn how to be your best self and to love and support yourself. Okay, we are not complete projects, nor will we ever be. Okay, as long as we're here on this earth, we will continually be growing or shrinking. And right now, our stage of adult development is all about accepting the duality of our humanness. Most of my listeners are above age 25. Hey, if you're under 25, give me a hit because that you're an evolved soul and I'd love to get to know you. Okay. But in our 20s and even our 30s, we did a lot of black or white thinking, a lot of good or bad. Is this good or bad? Am I good or bad? Whereas now, warriors, this stage of our development, this part in our adult school is all about leaning into the gray, allowing room for the both and. That we are both good and bad. We are both light, dark. We are both right and wrong. We are both awesome and awful. We're both generous and greedy. Is your nervous system reacting yet to what I'm saying? That's okay too. Keep listening because we know that discomfort, that's growth. Okay, this duality, this learning, this next level of adult school is challenging for me to come to terms with too. This idea that I can be a good mom and a bad mom. It's not either or, it's both. I can be a good wife and a bad wife. It's still something I'm playing with, and I invite you to play with it too. To just sort of notice and to see, is to feel your brain resisting and remind yourself, we're still growing and learning. We're in the middle of our own development. This is why I'm creating the Love Your Life School. We're not cooked, and we never will be in this lifetime. Yet, how do we keep learning and supporting ourselves in our growth? Well, enroll in the school. That's what I have set up for us when it opens later this month. For now, let your brain feel a little uncomfortable in this in-between place. And let's move on to the second part of this episode, where I give you 3 small things you can try to practice being more loving and kind with yourself. Okay, so here are the specific examples of how you can practice being kinder to one of my favorite people, you. I bring you this episode, no matter when you're listening, as a request from me to you to be kinder to yourself, to look for opportunities where you can choose love for yourself. I imagine there will always be room here for me to grow in this with myself. Our programming runs deep. We're taught to be the good girl. We were just part of our raising and part of our conditioning and our human design is that we do have that feeling there's something wrong with us. We're not enough. Okay, so we can always sort of flex this muscle in practice. And here are some small ways you can be kinder to yourself during your days. Okay, some things to try. 3 things. 1, in the morning, greet yourself. Greet yourself. Stop to look in your eyes in the bathroom mirror and say something nice to yourself. Say, good morning, you. Or I like to say, hello, Susie. Or good morning, sweetheart. And smile. Do you do this? Do you even treat yourself like a human being? This would be one area to try. Good morning, you. Hey there. Even a wave, that's your small step to practice. So that's 1. In the morning, practice greeting yourself. In the evening, when you're drifting off to sleep or when you're brushing your teeth, pause to thank your body. Okay? Thank your body. For me, this looks like me saying something like, hey, body, thanks for today. And then I try to think of specific examples. So I might say, thanks for today. Thanks for moving so well when I was playing ball with my son. Like, I was really impressed with how you ran after that. Didn't break your leg. Or I might say, like tonight, I might say, thanks for digesting all the food I shoved in you when I kept eating at dinner, even though I was full. Sorry that I think that made you uncomfortable in the moment. Thank you for digesting for me. It's always a good one. I always have this to fall back to. I'm like, hey, thanks for breathing and keeping my heart beating all day. I love you, body. Good night. That would be something to try. So in the morning, greet yourself. Hey there. How you doing? In the evening, hey, thanks. Thanks for this day, body. Thanks for keeping my heart beating. Okay, good night. Then, third piece here is during the day, when you screw up, talk to yourself kindly. Do you know we all screw up? You won't have a perfect day. There's no such thing. Days are long, warriors. Okay. And so what do you say to yourself when you screw up? Or maybe you are uncomfortable with the word screwing up. And maybe like, what do you say to yourself when you don't act as skillfully as you wish? Practice checking in with yourself with kindness. Okay. I'll say something like, wow, Susie, that was not your best right there. What's going on for you today? Or I'll be like, wow, you were really snippy with him. What's happening? Or maybe I'm really short with myself. I'll be like, hey, hon, what do you need? Okay. Remember, we humans have duality. We are both a good mom and a bad mom at different moments of different days. We are either a good friend and a bad friend, or both and. We can be both a good daughter and a bad daughter. Okay. Accepting that sometimes you make quote unquote bad choices or do things you wish you hadn't is really so fundamental to part of this love and acceptance of yourself. Our programming wants us to feel shame over that. That's why we have a hard time saying like, yeah, I screwed up. Okay, but that's not where growth occurs. That's not at all. This other part of being loving to ourselves and kind to ourselves is where growth occurs, not the shame. Okay, like if someone says, wow, you're really sort of snotty tonight. And I'm like, yeah, I sort of was, wasn't I? Wonder what was going on for me. Okay. It's not about like walking around and giving yourself an excuse for being snotty. You're not going to do that. I'm not even going to dive in there. But just right here, what I want you to play along with me is expand your brain a bit to consider that you're not always going to show up as that elevated, mindful, skilled human. Okay. Stuff is going to come out of your mouth that you wish it didn't. You're going to show up. Okay. And you're going to show up in ways you don't want to. You're going to forget things. You're going to overlook things. You're going to not prioritize things that you wish you would prioritize. Okay. All these things you're going to, maybe not be the friend, the partner, or the mom that you want to be in that given moment. And when you can accept that humanness about yourself, your brain is in an open and receptive place to learn and grow. When we're thinking like, that wasn't my best move, was it? I wonder what was going on for me. Okay. That's us adulting. That's part of the Love Your Life School. So practice meeting your human messed up part with love instead of shame during the day. This is the part 3. Practice saying things like, hey, love, what's going on? That was an interesting choice. And see what happens. Okay, I'm leaving you with those 3 things today because if you start, they are small. Greeting yourself, just saying to yourself in the mirror, meeting your eyes and saying, hey there, how are you? The end of the day, hey, thanks. I love you. In the middle of the day, wow, what was going on for you? Shifting. If you start any of those small things, you will for sure notice a shift in your relationship with yourself. Okay. Wouldn't that feel good, warrior? Hey, yes. And I know if you're like me and how I was before, you may not even believe it's possible to be that kind to yourself or understand what it feels like to be more kind and compassionate in your head, to meet your humanness with, oh, wow, girl, what's going on? Instead of the usual berating meanness we're used to. I know, I was there. And this week, I invite you to just try it on. Like you're an actress in a play. Just sort of pretend. Okay, choose one and get started. Let me know somewhere, Instagram or on the newsletter list or somewhere, which one you'll try. Okay, You matter to me. And if you could do me two small favors, okay? One, rate and review the show on Apple or Spotify. It helps more women get the tools to feel better about themselves and their lives. It would mean a lot to me if you could share that sparkle. Okay? And if you've already left a review, could you share this episode with one more person? My mission is to help as many warriors live lives they love as I can. You sharing this show with just one other person or leaving a review that will impact more than one person, those reviews really make a difference on Apple and Spotify, really helps me with my mission. I'm grateful for you. So thank you. Okay, speaking of reviews, I want to do a shout out to our Warrior of the Week this week. Our Warrior of the Week, her screen name is Diane K-AZ. Okay, and it's a 5-star review. Thank you, Diane. And she says, my daily brain workout. When you exercise, you have the tools to make exercise happen. When we work on our mind, we don't always have those tools. This podcast has taught me so much and given me the tools every single episode. Susie gives true, loving, no-nonsense type of information that on a day-to-day basis I can use to better myself and better my brain. Thank you, Diane. I literally have goosebumps. Okay, so if you can send me some goosebumps, by the way, of reviews like Diane K from AZ, maybe be Arizona, I don't know. Go for it. And thank you, Diane K. You are the Warrior of the Week. You have warmed my heart today. All right. I love you guys. Don't forget to get on the wait list for the Love Your Life School, as it will be open for quick enrollment at the end of this month. Finally, a place for us to come together, love, support, and continue on this human journey with us. Okay. For today, this week, I've given you 3 ways you can practice being more loving towards yourself and accepting your whole self. This humaning stuff is hard. You're not meant to do it alone. You're not meant to know it all. You're not meant to know what stage of development you're in. Okay, make the choice to continue to grow and evolve. I mean, you are. You're listening to podcasts like this. I freaking love you. Okay, so I want you to love you. I want you to choose to love all of you. You're good. You're bad. You're dark. You're light. You're amazing. You're awfulness. I love all of you. Can you love all of you? Let's go, warriors. Big hugs to you.